Hi everyone, and welcome to this month's AdEspresso office hours. As you can probably see from the screen, this webinar, we're going to be discussing how to finish the year strong with Facebook and Instagram ads in this 1 hour training. Now, just before we dive in, just to let you know that we are recording, I'd like to mention that at the beginning because we always get asked. So don't worry if you don't take too many notes or if you can't watch the whole presentation. Within 24 hours, we'll put it onto our website. It lives at adespresso.com/webinars. You can also look at it on our YouTube channel, which is just search for AdEspresso on there and you will find it. Also, if you registered for this webinar, then we try and send it to you by email as well, but I know sometimes spam filters and things like that block them out. So you've got the website, you've got the YouTube channel there if you want to go and watch the replay. The aim of these sessions is that they're going to be very interactive. My colleague Tori is going to be monitoring chat. So if you get any technical issues as we go along, just go and post into the chat box there in your GoToWebinar panel. Also, I'll try and answer as many questions as possible about strategy at the end. Bear in mind that we do get a lot of questions and there's only so many that we can fit in. So I recommend if you've got any questions, get them in sooner rather than later. Then you've got a better chance of getting your question answered at the end there. So just a little bit about me so that you know I'm qualified to deliver this training today. My name's Paul. I'm the Head of Training and Education here at AdEspresso. If you've got any questions after this webinar, you can always reach out to me, paul@adespresso.com, and I promise to answer every email that I receive there. My background is I've been working for AdEspresso for about 5 years now. I work on our services team, basically helping our clients with their Facebook and Instagram ad strategy. I've audited campaigns from over 1,000 ad accounts. Very few people outside of Facebook themselves get access to so many campaigns and clients. So we get to see what's working across different businesses all across the world there. Also manage about $2 million of ad spend myself for clients. So I've got some skin in the game, get to see what's actually working when I book those ads in there. And I coach clients of all sizes. So from small, medium businesses, some are mom and pop businesses that spend 20 bucks a day on ads. And then you've got up to enterprise clients that have got revenue in the billions or even in the tens of billions. So I can adapt my strategy to all levels. But today's webinar, we're going to be looking at what's suitable for small, medium businesses in particular there. So that's enough about me. And let's dive into today's training, which of course is going to be covering the holiday season here and how to succeed with your Facebook and Instagram ads. And the way that I look at it, the overview that I take is to break it down into 4 phases. It's very important that we plan ahead for Q4 for the holiday season. And so really I break it down and into these 4 phases. And the first phase, the warm up, is now. Actually probably starts around about September. So as we get over the summer holidays, people come back from vacation, their mind then starts turning to Thanksgiving and Christmas and the sales events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So warm up is running from that September, probably ends, as we'll see when we look at the holiday dates, around about mid-November. Just depends whether you're going to be running Singles Day or not. The main event is all based around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Sometimes you see blog posts or guides that call it BFCM. They kind of merged now the Black Friday and Cyber Monday into this kind of week-long event. And then once you get that event, that's right at the end of November, as we'll see in a second. You then get into December. That's the time to really keep pushing to maximize sales, really packing as much as possible for the holiday season. And then something that people often overlook, but it's actually really important, is phase 4, which is the post-holiday season. So that's kind of when we get past the last shipping day in December for e-commerce. We then move into that sales, and we'll come into some strategy for this. So let's have a quick look at those dates here. The first one on your radar is Singles Day. Now, I know that traditionally outside of Asia, this hasn't been that popular. It's a huge selling event in China in particular. Just like people to think about this, that I think competition for Black Friday, Cyber Monday is going to be really intense this year. I'm already seeing some sales start really early, so something to be on your radar. Last year, I was monitoring ads in Europe and US, and it's the first year I started to see those. So Singles Day is always on 11/11. That's why it's the 11th of November. So it's something that you could consider there in your arsenal. Next one, of course, we move into Thanksgiving's on the Thursday. That's a holiday in the US, which is then followed by Black Friday, the main sales event on the 27th this year. It always changes by a few days. Small Business Saturday, I'll cover that a bit later, but that's on the Saturday after Black Friday. Cyber Monday, we continue our sales push then. That's going to be right at the end of November this year. Giving Tuesday, again, I'll tell you more about that later. But that's more about looking at the charity and sustainability side of your business on the 1st. Then Green Monday, there's all these little holidays they make up in December, or rather the event days rather than holidays, but it's usually the busiest day for e-commerce in December. That's assuming that Cyber Monday is taking place in November there. Another view of looking at this, we can see where we are at time of recording. We're on the 5th here. So we've got that Singles Day coming up in just a week's time. And then Black Friday, this slide is actually from Facebook. They're calling it Black Friday Shopping Week, which of course peaks with Black Friday. And they just really continue straight on to Cyber Monday. What we're seeing is this trend is Black Friday starting earlier and earlier. Generally, every year I'm seeing it starting early. So it used to be starting on Thanksgiving and then the Wednesday, Tuesday. We're probably going to be seeing it this year start on that Monday. And then, of course, you can change up some of your offers, but they go straight through there to Cyber Monday, and saying that's then followed by Giving Tuesday. I thought you might find this slide interesting. This is data from Facebook. Bear in mind, it's global data. So like I covered earlier, you might find Singles Day is really big in some countries traditionally, but not so much in US and Europe. But what this does is it looks at the data from the Facebook pixel, which is on thousands and thousands of websites. And we can see here that when you get into October, we've kind of got the baseline level of demand. It then starts picking up as we get into November, which is where we are here. You get this spike for Singles Day, drops down a bit, but it's still higher, builds up to Black Friday. So you just get a slight lull over the weekend. People wait then to see what the Cyber Monday offers are, get that second spike, and then it's still going to be very, very high. And like we covered, this kind of Green Monday that you get there, the last building up towards the last shipping day, which is quite early in the season in the US. Some countries it's a little bit later in December. Then you get this drop off, really drops over Christmas, and then just kind of returns to the baseline level there. So that gives you an idea that we're not going to have much time once we get into this season, so that planning, having everything ready there is going to be crucial. So if there's just one thing that I want you to take away from this webinar, obviously we're going to cover lots of tips. Just one thing, bear in mind that Facebook ad pricing depends on the amount of competition. The more competition we get around the holiday season, the more that you're going to be paying for your ads. Some people are used to traditional offline media where you get a rate card. Back in the day, I used to be booking magazine ads, and they'd give you this card and saying, right, if you want a half page, this is how much you pay. Inside front cover, this is the price. Full size ad in color, this is how much you pay. It's not like that with Facebook. The more competition, the more that you're going to pay. And the best way of illustrating this is from some data going through AdEspresso. We're very privileged that we get millions of dollars a year going through our servers, so we can see what the long-term trend is. And here we can see that the price, this is the cost per click or CPC, nice and low in Q1, January, February, March. As we then start getting to the summer months, it picks up a little bit, and then it just keeps rising and rising and rising as we get there into the holiday season. So it's going to be a lot more expensive for us, which is why we need to have everything prepared, have a really good strategy. You can't go into the holiday season blind. It's going to be too expensive. Another way of illustrating this is the AdEspresso dashboard for one of my clients. And we can see that the kind of turquoise line here, that's the CPM or cost per thousand impressions. and that's on the axis here on the right hand side. So you can see it starts off there as we get into October, under $10, goes up to $10, and then at the peak here, as we get into where we can see this Black Friday, Cyber Monday peak, and another one there in December, it's get up to $25. So that's over a 2.5 times increase in the cost per thousand impressions in a very short period of time. Then if we look at this orange line, which is the cost per click or CPC, it starts at $100. Even there in October, it's under $1. And then it's peaking there in December to over $3. That's over a 3x increase in CPC. This isn't like a slight change. This is 3 times or more the increase in cost per click there. So that tells us we're going to be paying more for impressions, more for clicks. So that's why we need a really good strategy for the holiday season. Some other data here. This is your average order value for e-commerce. And what we can see is that the AOV does increase, but not by very much at all. So we only get like a 1% worldwide, maybe like a 0.25% increase in AOV as we get into Q4. So that's nothing. So we're paying, 2.5 times more for distribution, 3 times a click, but people aren't ordering more. Like we can see here on this data, they're looking at 140% increase in your CPC instead of 70% what they're seeing worldwide. They're seeing $1.68. So we really need to make sure that we've got our conversion rates really, really high on our websites. So we need everything dialed in now. Otherwise, we're just going to get swallowed up by that really high CPM and CPC because we can't rely on increased cart values there. But I don't want to give you all negativity. I think there's some real positives as well. I just really want to hammer home that message that we need to get a good strategy in place. This is customer research, and we can be seeing what the average budget is for gifting this year. Now, there's 2 lines here, one for under 40, one for over 40. You can see that the over 40 is very robust. We're actually seeing quite a few people there spending over $500, some even spending over $1,000. And the kind of average there, they're spending at least $250. So that tells us there's a lot of money on the table. So if we can run the right ads, withstand that high cost per click, there's a lot of money to be had out there. Bear in mind, these kind of light purpley sort of violet lines here, the under 40s, they are much more price sensitive. They've got much smaller budgets. I think what we've been seeing from a lot of the data this year is that jobs for the under 40s being much more affected by COVID. Over 40s tend to have jobs which are, perhaps more work from home, these kind of office roles that they can carry on working from home, so less affected, and that's why they've got those higher budgets there. So just think about your audience, think about how price sensitive. For over 40s, maybe you're looking to increase average order value, maybe you're looking for more discounts, more bargains for that under 40s. You're going to know your audience best there. So to summarize what's going to be unique about this year, we know there's a lot of challenges ahead. This year, I've been speaking to a lot of businesses. They're all behind on their targets. And so what that means is, everybody in head office has got sales targets to get their bonus this year. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be throwing everything at Q4 to try and catch up. They're not really going to be focused this year on their profit margins. Normally what they'd be doing is they'd be setting a ROAS goal. That's their return on ad spend, and they want to make sure they're getting profitability. This year, they're going to let that slide. They just want more sales. They want more revenue, even if they're not making much money out of it. So there's going to be even more competition for ads that's going to drive up the price more. Bricks and mortar stores. I've had local stores that have come to me wanting help with their ads, where they're having to move online because their physical stores are either closed at the moment during lockdown, or there's social distancing, so they've got less capacity. Now they're moving online, they're throwing budgets at Facebook ads, and they don't really know what their benchmarks are. So they're not looking at their return on ad spend or profitability. They're just throwing money into the auction, which is going to push up the prices even more. And then US election spend. At the time of recording, we're the day after the election, and that means that the ad pricing should drop a little bit. There's going to be no new Facebook political ads for who knows how long it will take, but at the moment they've paused all new ads Only current ones can keep spending, but I think most of those would have been stopped after the election yesterday. We were seeing sales volume, spending volumes of about 10 million US dollars per week on those ads. So we're going into November with a very high CPM, so that'll drop off a little bit, but that's then just going to carry straight on into this wave of people spending more than ever on their ads there. But again, I'm going to give you some positives. There are some opportunities that for e-commerce, if we can pivot some of our sales online, at least 60% of people, this is US data, plan to venture into stores less over the holidays. So great opportunities if you can sell online and for running ads online there. The people that are going to stores, they want store pickups. We call it click and collect in the UK, very, very popular. So just think about how you can put that into your mix there. Can people look online, but then go and pick that up in the store there? Also, there's a lot of love for local stores. So think about how you can kind of put that into your ads there. We don't just have to go like, here's a discount, buy now. We can talk about how we help the local community if that's applicable for your brand. If you've got some bricks and mortar stores, weave that into the stories that you're telling there. There's a lot of people going to want to help their local stores to survive. And we're also seeing that sales are shifting early this year. I'm based in the UK. There's already been warnings put out by courier companies saying they're just not going to cope with the volumes in December. They're telling people to shop early. We're also seeing that the search volumes for Christmas products that are going through Google has peaked very, very early. A lot of department stores opened their Christmas concessions a month earlier than normal. So again, that means we need a good strategy. If you're waiting to sort of like a week before Black Friday to start planning your sales campaigns, it's going to be too late. A lot of shopping is going to be done by December, the beginning of December there. So really plan out what you're going to be doing there. And I'm going to give you some actionable tips as we dig into this training there. Also had another look from this survey about the data where people are going to be shopping. Normally, in previous years, 2018, 2019, we see that some people shop exclusively in store, some exclusively online, but we're really seeing this blended model this year. And I think that goes back to the points we were looking at before, is that people are going to be shopping in store less. They don't want to be mixing and going out and about so much, but they really want their local stores to survive, which is why I think click and collect and that kind of hybrid model is really important. So if you are a bricks and mortar store that's moving online, don't just think that you just need to talk about online. Talk about how you target that local area. Talk about the community initiatives that you do there. So that's what we're looking for. How can we do that blended model? Look, that's way, way bigger than in previous years. And think about how you can take advantage of that. By the way, some of those data points that I've been presenting so far, they're all contained in this report from our friends at Tenuity. You can download that for free, their shopping guide there. Just go to tenuity.com/content/guides, and you can find some of that data there. Every year they publish a really good holiday guide. Okay, so far what I've done is I've set the scene, how this year is going to be different from previous years. Now we know that time is short for the warm-up phase, saying that started in September. So let's dig straight into this, and I'm going to give you some actionable tips in this webinar here. So phase one, which is now, saying us until we get to either Singles Day or Black Friday, Cyber Monday, first thing you need to do is make sure your plumbing is in place. This is from one of Facebook's holiday guides, and they're really just making sure that you've got everything you need for e-commerce. Have you got your catalog set up for dynamic product ads? Have you got everything you need for Messenger? Are your teams familiar with how to respond to comments on Messenger? Have you got advanced matching? This is something new in Shopify. It relies on the conversions API. That's a whole webinar in itself, but something that you can Google separately there. Which holidays are important for your business? Do you know ad policies? Have you got your pixel set up? Are there any errors? If you've got an app, then is your SDK integrated with Facebook? What are your benchmarks? This is really important. Like I was saying earlier, you need to know what your return on ad spend is, what your affordable CPA is for your ads to be profitable. So I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but the take-home message is make sure you've got all that plumbing sorted, Because if you suddenly get into Black Friday and say that your ads get rejected, it's going to be very short time periods to do anything about that. Now, take home message is just run some test campaigns now. A lot of businesses that I know are seasonal and they just wait till the holiday season to start running ads for that year. Make sure you start running some test campaigns now, even if they're a low budget. That will tell you if your catalog's set up right or your pixels set up right, etc. So be putting out some test campaigns. Second thing that you want to be doing now is A/B testing. The costs are going to be way too high as we get towards Black Friday, Cyber Monday to be doing A/B testing. You need to be testing now. If you go to adespresso.com, you can go to our blog section and we run some $1,000 experiments. We put some real ad spend behind our test there to see what's actually working rather than just kind of fluffy theory. We see what's working there. But some ideas from the experiments we've run previously are here. For example, you could be looking at the ad formats. What works best for your business? Is it images? Is it videos? Is it carousel? With your ad copy, what length works best? Should you use bullet points? Should you use emojis? Go and be doing that testing now. Is Instagram stories important? I found for a number of businesses, it's really taking off this year. Before I've seen cheap CPMs, cheap clicks, but not very many conversions. This year is definitely different from the data that I'm seeing. Do that testing, see if that's applicable to your business. Audience targeting, should you use lookalikes or interest? Go and be testing that now. Campaign budget optimization, does it work for your particular sales funnel? Go and be testing that there. Test the waters there with some broad audiences. To really scale and keep costs down, you need to be accessing some audiences beyond lookalikes. Now's a good chance to see if you can get working for you. There's also checkboxes that you can be using in AdEspresso or Ads Manager, such as interest expansion. We've also seen on a few accounts lookalike expansion, brand new, not rolled out across the whole of Ads Manager yet. Does it work? Only you can find out by putting some budget in now. Don't wait until CPM is going to rise threefold to find out if it's any good for you. So like I just referenced, if you want to look at some of those experiments, don't rely on what works in our experiments, but it gives you some ideas on what tests that you should be running and how to set those up. Completely free to check those out there at adespresso.com/blog. So some ideas of those for audiences that you could be testing, creating now in advance. Look at value-based audiences. We're going to be looking at this in a bit more detail in phase 2 in a second. And you can then get quite granular with value-based lookalikes. You can create those from a relevant product set rather than your whole product catalog, especially if you sell a diverse range of products. Upload your mailing list from last holiday season, especially if you can include value in that. So you get a value-based audience that you can create a value-based lookalike of people that purchased from you Q4 last year there. Just upload a mailing list of all purchases of your holiday products. Go and segment your mailing list. That's if your cart or your CRM gives you that data by what people purchased there. And think about using sync tools. We're going to be very, very busy to sync up our mailing list to Facebook custom audiences. We don't want to be manually exporting those lists and then importing them constantly. We've got to be busy looking after our ads. So think about using some sync tools. One of my favorites is, of course, in AdEspresso. It's called Data Sync. That's free if you're an AdEspresso customer, and that can sync up things like MailChimp or HubSpot or ActiveCampaign to Facebook to create those custom audiences. So as we get that sales data come in, that can be syncing to custom audience, which in turn can be dynamically updating a lookalike audience for targeting there. So take home message as a recap for phase 1 is to be running those experiments, make sure that your plumbing is in place, and run some test campaigns to make sure that there's no errors there. And then from there, we want to be moving into phase 2. So a recap from those key dates that we looked at. Could be looking to start early. Singles Day is a suggestion there. I've always got Black Friday week, saying 26th of November for Thanksgiving, but some people are starting on the Monday there. it is quite a long time actually. If you start on the Monday, some people then rotate their offers over the weekend and have that second push there for Cyber Monday. But these are going to be the biggest time for sales volume. So what I'm going to do now is give you around about 10 tips on really simple, actionable advice on how we can make the most and really pack in the sales for you. So tip one, your ads, we don't want to be doing the brand awareness ads. It's going to be too expensive. We're really in the key sales season. So not like this, hey, have you got cats? They might like some nice snacks from us, some nice toys. We've got to be really straight and to the point. This is an ad from Walmart. Same company, but this is what they need on Black Friday, like a carousel of products. We've got this laptop on offer. We've got this monitor. We've got some kind of doll set there. Yeah, Disney fashion doll. Which do you want? ABC. This is the price. Very, very clear. Straight to the point. No brand awareness. Just it's Black Friday. We've got a sale on. Here's our best offers. Go and buy now. So that's tip one. We've got really different ad creative in Q4 compared to the rest of the year. Second tip is, of course, we need some offers, and these are the main offers that attract people during the sales season. Site-wide discounts, just keep it very, very simple there. We can then, of course, get granular again, put discounts on specific products. Coupon codes, we'll come to that in a second, which obviously tried and tested. Free shipping, really, really popular and something that I've been running with my clients just to pack in a few extra sales before the main Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, just free shipping. Just to try and get some of these purchases going through the pipeline, make it a bit easier for the logistics team there. And then free shipping by order value if you want to go and push up the average cart value. Tip three is you could be looking at doing some coupon codes to really push up that average order value. That's if you're looking more for maximizing that revenue rather than just the pure number of sales. You could be doing some quite juicy coupon codes there, but make sure it's for quite a high spend. So you're trying to get people to consolidate and do all their shopping just from your e-commerce site there. Tip four, if you do discount codes, keep them very simple. Remember, about 94% of Facebook ads these days are served on mobile devices. So if you've got some really complex code, people are going to be navigating between different browsers or different windows on mobile. Not that easy to go and copy and paste codes on mobile devices. So keep it extremely simple, like here it is, as Black Friday or holiday. And a sort of supplementary tip is you've got to go large or go home with your discounts. It's going to be very, very competitive. You know, if you're going to be offering a discount, it's got to be substantial. I saw this ad just today in my newsfeed about an hour before this webinar. It's like 5% off office furniture. So what? Nobody's going to take much notice of it during the holiday season. You know, other times of year, maybe in January, like people would take notice of 10% off, but they're not as we get into Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So in this case, I'll do something different like free shipping, or just try and get that high cart value and give a juicier discount. But this just isn't going to cut through the noise in Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I think that's probably why they've kind of hidden the discount in the text there by having a similar color to the background, because they know it's not going to have much effect there. Tip five, these are in no particular order, by the way, but I just want to really stress that book your ads in early. If you're an agency, work with your client and say to them, I need the ads at least 48 hours, preferably 72 hours in advance, no excuses. A couple of years ago, as an example, Facebook Ads Manager went down for the whole day on Wednesday. What that means is lots of clients and agencies in the US having their Thanksgiving dinner with their laptop next to them, trying to get their ads booked for Black Friday. And I heard there was a lot of partners that were fuming over that. Now, if they'd have booked those ads in advance, they could have avoided this. You can book ads for months in advance. I don't think you need to go that far, but just put them in. What you've got to remember is a lot of people are used to Facebook ads review taking about 5 minutes. And the maximum it should take, as stated here, is 24 hours. On Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as well as lots of buggy platform issues, the review can take a lot longer. Facebook is just overwhelmed. Can't stress how swamped they get with ads. And so it could be 48 hours, 72 hours. I also saw this, again, I saw this about a couple of hours before composing this webinar this afternoon, that Facebook are warning people with COVID. Their teams are working remotely instead of their offices around the world. So they say that things are taking 48 hours. I know this is related to political ads, but it's really going to apply to all ads. So if I was starting a campaign on the Friday, I would say you want to book them in on Monday. Why not? There's going to be no stress. There's no harm at all in booking them in much, much earlier. Sixth tip, this is my boss Francesco. He likes surfing, and we call it, I think Andrew Foxwell, who's a good Facebook advertiser, calls it the surfing technique, which is on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. You haven't got time for optimization and to complete the learning phase. You really need to just go with the opportunities. What I do every year now, I've learned just to block out the time over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. That weekend, I'm going to be sitting there in front of the computer. Normally, I wouldn't work weekends, but you just have to roll with it over that holiday season. So what I do there is I need to know my KPIs. I need to know my benchmarks. I need to know from my clients how much they're prepared to pay for CPA for that purchase, what their expected ROAS goals are. So then I can see if there's any opportunities and I'm hitting the goals, I'm just going to pile in the budget. If I see something's not working, I can put it, I can then move on to the next campaign or my different ad creative. So there's just going to be no time to let things run for a few days and complete the learning phase and optimize. You just need to get stuck in there. So give yourself that time over Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend. And this is only going to work if you know what your goals are. And if you're an agency, you need to speak to your clients and say, how much are you prepared to spend on ads? What's the benchmarks? If I see this, are you prepared for me to double? On the understanding that maybe it won't work, maybe we'll burn through some ad spend and things will fail, but you only get one chance at Black Friday, Cyber Monday, so we got to be bold with it and go surfing there. Tip number 7 now for phase 2, value-based lookalikes. These are extremely well performing lookalikes for e-commerce. So if you're going to cold traffic, like you'll see here, what it does is it can look at the purchases over the last 60 days. So it's looking at recent data. That's really important where historical data isn't so valuable when we've got some weird purchasing patterns at the moment with COVID. So it looks at the recency of purchases, looks at the frequency of purchases and the value. For this client, you can see that their best customers are spending over $200, worst ones spending $12. So Facebook can segment those out and create an extremely good quality lookalike audience there. Another tip, and we covered this a bit for phase 1, but you really want to be getting your audiences uploaded there so you can remarket people that purchased from you from the previous holiday season. I see this time and time again in Q4. The best purchases are the one that were my customers last year there. And then a couple of little tips here to maximize sales. So if you start Black Friday actually on the Monday, you've got about 10 days there where you're selling. So you can mix things up a bit. If you've got that small business, you could jump on Small Business Saturday, the day after Black Friday. Like we saw in that survey data, people are really wanting to support small businesses this year and help them get through this really, really difficult time. If that applies to you, then think about how you can put some of that in your ad creative there. And then Giving Tuesday, which is the day after Cyber Monday. This is something where you really changed tactic with the ads and you focus more on sustainability, charity, any social aspects. Remember, we've just had about 10 days of just blasting people with discounts, very blunt offers. And then we can just change things. I think people then get a bit banner blind to too many discounts if it goes on for too long. And we can say, hey, this is what we do. This is how we give back to the community. This is how we help the environment. And see if we can get some extra sales. Again, this is very age related. We see that the about 18 to 44, so under 45s group, they're definitely more motivated on this. It's still quite strong on 45 plus, but not quite so much. And then people that just going to shop based on the offers. Over 45s, there's a few more people that are interested in that. So that's why we have that phase where up to Cyber Monday, hit them with the offers. Then we could just have a couple of days for Giving Tuesday where we talk about some other aspects of our business. So that covers now up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I've given you 10 actionable tips. By all means, watch the replay on the AdEspresso website in the webinar section or on YouTube to go and cover those tips again. But really, once we've got past Cyber Monday, we want to keep sales going through December as much as possible. And so again, I'm going to give you some really simple, actionable tips for this. The first one is you could be thinking about your dynamic product ads. You could be using them not just for standard remarketing, but there's something they've got called upsells. And like the little tooltip shows you here, when you set up the upsell for those, you use two different product sets and you say if people view products from set A, remarket to them with set B, which try and shows them higher value products. So this is about in advance creating those different product sets. And I'm going to give you an example where you might use this. And I like using Apple as an example. Now, bear in mind, this isn't the strategy that Apple's actually using. As far as I know, they don't ever run any Facebook ads, but it just it's a well-known brand, well-known product. So hopefully you can then relate this anecdote to your business. So they've just released a couple of weeks ago the new iPhone 12, but they've been running for the last few months the iPhone SE. So imagine somebody's looking at this. UK pricing is £399. I think it's probably about $400 in the US. Now imagine people viewed that product. You could then be using upsell Facebook ads to get somebody to then upgrade to the iPhone 12 mini, which instead of £399 is $699 there. You're getting a much higher cart value. And that's what I would be doing if I was Apple and if I would be running ads. I'd be running those upsell ads there, try and get an extra £300 out of them. Second tip there, as you get into December, if people are buying gifts, keep it really simple for them and increase your average order value with bundles. If I'm shopping for somebody and I don't really know what they're into, like if I'm shopping for toiletries and like shower gel, do they like this scent? Do they like that? What size should I get? Should I mix it up? How many should I get? I'm not sure. It's much easier if you've got a bundle to offer people there. Keep it simple and yeah, you get more money out of them. Third tip, big one this year, offer gift wrap. There's not going to be these huge family meetups. There's not going to be these office parties. So people are going to be sending gifts direct through e-commerce gift wrap. There are ways of doing this in Shopify. I'm sure there is in other carts where you can add that at checkout. Amazon has it at checkout. If Amazon does it, then the rest of us should be doing it for our ads there. Tip 4, make sure that you've got gift cards or certificates. Again, people might not be handing over physical gifts, so think about those gift certificates so that people can buy online and easily just post it, or offering, if it's near the time, offering e-codes as well that people can email to each other. Then as we get properly into December and towards that last shipping date, the focus moves away from discounts and more towards guaranteeing that people are physically going to get that product. And that's why we use free expedited shipping. So people sometimes say to me, you know, should I offer free shipping or should I offer discounts? It really depends on that time of year. So map out that plan there as we get into December. It's going to be really important there. And then once we've got our December plan, like we saw, people are really changing their buying habits, that they're moving from discounts for themselves over Black Friday, Cyber Monday into bundles for friends and families, and they want that gift wrap, they want that guaranteed shipping. That's how we got to plan out December. Then after that last shipping day, we saw in that data from Facebook, there's a bit of a lull, but then we move into the final phase, which is phase 4. This is so often overlooked, but for me, this is where, for some of my clients, I actually make the most sales and definitely make the most profit because it's not just having to carve things up with really deep discounts. So to recap a slide we saw earlier, we've been looking so far at phase 1, 2, 3, where we've got a very high CPC, that cost per click, that just keeps on rising. And then after December, it drops down really cheap. It's no coincidence that gyms and holiday ads are running in January, February, March. Yes, I know that holidays are running then as well because people are planning their vacations for the year. And in January, people want to get fit, but it's also because they know that ads are too expensive to run in December and then they're really cheap to run in January and February. But we should also be taking advantage of them as an e-commerce brand. This is a little stat from Facebook that 46% of shoppers in January are looking to take advantage of holiday sales. And what I see in January and February is a couple of things. The first is that people know what budgets they've got to spend on themselves because they've bought all their gifts. They've also know what gifts they received. So afterwards they can be thinking, okay, these are the things I want. I know how much money I've got in the bank. I can confidently go and buy these products now. So that's going to be really, really important. Yeah, and you'll just find that people have got more time as well. During holiday season, and that's a bit different this year, but normally as we get November and December, people are just distracted. They've got Christmas parties, they've got meetups, Thanksgiving dinners. They haven't really got time to go and plan buying for themselves. In January and February, depends where you are in the world, but in quite a few regions, it's really cold, rainy weather. You're sat in front of the computer and people comfort shop, and that cheap CPM, and people know what money they've got. Let's take advantage of that. So how can we do that with our ads? We could be running cross sales. And what cross sale is where, let's just go back a slide there. What we do is that we promote a certain product set to people that purchased from a different product set. Unlike upsell, where it's where people look at one product set and then we show them the second one, this is where they actually purchase the first. Good example, going back to Apple, imagine they get people buying iPads. They could then get people in the new year, getting them to can add on a Apple Pencil, a case for the keyboard, just a protective cover, all of those sorts of things. And those accessories, as you can see, some of them are quite expensive actually, like an Apple Pencil, well over $100. The keyboard there, a couple of $100. That really just pack in the sales that you can get there, as well as running our standard purchase ads as well, because the pricing's really cheap. Some other things that you could be doing, you could be asking for reviews. That's going to increase the credibility of your e-commerce stores. Really cheap time of year to run them. We don't be running requests for reviews when CPC is 3 times the baseline in November. Just give them a little gift card there, a little competition. Could be running messenger campaigns for customer service. If you're remarketing purchases, quite a small audience can be very cheap. What we don't want is people just complaining on public spaces on social media, rather than them tweeting going, oh, this brand I bought from, really rubbish. Run some messenger campaigns. Just say, hey, is everything okay? How can we help you? Refer friend schemes, especially for things like subscription boxes. I do this. Give them an incentive why they should refer a friend. You've just got loads and loads of new customers in Q4. Turn those customers into referrers. Remember, the sales funnel doesn't stop with a purchase. We go round in a cycle and we use that to then go and get more prospects through referral schemes. And also you can use upgrades, especially if you've got subscriptions, or maybe somebody's tried your product for the first time. I've done that before. I drink quite a lot of teas, probably being British, but I've bought different types of tea before and then got tea subscriptions in the new year once I've tried that product there. So just think that in January, in Q1, how can we keep our foot on the gas there? How can we maximize sales? And certainly I've got several brands, they make more money in Q1 than Q4, ironically there. So hopefully that gives you a high level view of how to plan for the 4 phases there of the holiday season. We're going to go to Q&A in a minute. So if you've got any questions, please type them in the chat box there. I'd just like to give you a little thank you for watching this webinar, and I'm going to give you a free 14-day trial of AdEspresso. If you want some help with your Facebook and Instagram and Google ads there, go to adespresso.com/AE webinar, and we've got an exclusive trial with 30% off. You can only access that discount through that link there. If you want some help from other marketers, if you join AdEspresso, we're not just a software tool. We've got a private members-only Facebook group that's free for users. There's 7,000 other marketers and business owners in there. And we're giving each other advice all day long. I also check that group several times a day there, and I'm answering any messages in there. Also, if you want some one-to-one strategy advice, in the services tab of AdEspresso, so this is just again for our users, then we offer 3 services. We offer campaign reviews, which are 10-minute tactical reviews of a particular campaign. If you want to know whether you've got the right placement, the right bidding, optimization, the right number of ads, you're doing the right amount of split testing, we can give you a 10-minute review within 1 business day from our ad experts. We then have one-to-one coaching, that's power hours. We can answer any questions that you've got in that 1-hour session. And we're looking there really at the high level strategy rather than just tactics. We also have a concierge service. This is a managed ad services where we can run some of the ads for you. We don't compete directly with agencies because full service agencies are doing much more like copywriting, graphic design, maybe website design as well. But if you just need some help with your ads, maybe you're busy, maybe you're just overwhelmed by all the options in Ads Manager, we can offer those services for you there. Then a quick shout out to our next webinar, December. We like to alternate between Facebook and Google webinars. And so in December, we're going to welcome back Gianluca. He doesn't work for Google, but he's one of the premier Google Ads experts. And he's going to be talking about how to boost your keyword performance by mastering the Google search term report there. So definitely tune in for that. You can register at adespresso.com/webinars, and like all our webinars, that's going to be free. So many people have stuck with us at the end. Thank you so much. And I can see lots of questions here. So definitely keep asking those, and we're going to see how many we can get through. But I'm going to open it up to my colleague Tori now, who's going to pick out some of the questions. Hi, Tori.
Hey, Paul. So we have a lot of people saying thank you so much for the tips, a lot of great info, learned a lot today. So thank you so much for that. So we'll go ahead and dive into some of these questions here. First one that I have is, do you have any specific tips for SaaS mobile app companies during the holidays, aside from the general ones that you laid out today?
Yes. So the first thing is be very mindful of budgets. Like if everybody's going for their Cyber Monday, Black Friday bargains, if that's something that you're not intending to run an offer, just duck out and just focus on remarketing. Keep your budget small, and then save that budget and spend it in Q1 when ad pricing is much cheaper. So what I recommend is, if you're not a brand that can capitalize on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, don't have a monthly budget. Don't try and spend the same amount in January as you do in March, as you do in September, as you do in November. Instead, have a quarterly budget and say, right, for Q4, I'm going to spend less, and they're going to front load my budget towards the beginning of the year in Q1. But also SaaS businesses, if you are offering discounts, then people also respond to that. We're a SaaS business ourselves, and I'm not going to give a spoiler for any offers that are coming up, but I certainly know that we'll be, every year we put some offers there to our current customers, and we find that people do take advantage of those. So again, you don't need to get too complex with the ads, but you can offer some upgrades there to your current customers. That can work very well. I would say for SaaS that you certainly don't want to be offering prospecting offers. If you've got a specialist B2B product, then it's just going to be too expensive to be feeding that funnel. But work on your current customers. There's certainly a lot of people that might be having a lower grade subscription. You can upgrade their tier plan, or you could be moving them from monthly up to yearly, or you could get them to add on extra services there. So yeah, hopefully those tips will help you with your SaaS business. Any particular questions, reach out to me by email at paul@adespresso.com, and I'll be happy to answer anything specific to your particular SaaS business there.
Great. Said thank you as well for that answer. Next question here, should we keep general campaigns running, assuming like always on type of things, while we have the holiday specific ads running, or should we just focus on the holiday specific ads?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, you can monitor performance. So this is where you need to know your benchmarks. You need to know what your CPC looks like and your CPM and so on in October, so that you can then see if it's increasing in November and so on. Something that's very useful for that is graphical reporting, which is something that AdEspresso excels at. And we give you a nice graphical dashboard where you can see like we saw at the beginning, like maybe a blue line for your CPC and a red line for your CPA. It's very difficult in Ads Manager when you've just got this huge amount of figures, like I call it a giant Excel spreadsheet to look at trends. You can use the inspect tool at ad set level in Ads Manager, so you do get some graphical reporting there. So there are things that you can do, but just really know what your benchmarks are. Keep an eye on them. If you find that costs are getting high and your performance is declining, drop them. Also, you know what, my personal strategy is I do usually turn some of those off. A couple of days before my Black Friday, Cyber Monday campaigns, if it's anything to do with remarketing, so I kind of rest my audiences so that they're not getting any banner blindness, and then I can just really go all guns blazing with my offer ads. And then once my offers have finished, I do then turn more or less everything off for a couple of days and just kind of let those audiences rest again. One of my clients, we had a very, very big sale over this weekend, so I turned everything off on Monday, just kind of trickled the ads back on over Tuesday, and then ramped things up again with my general prospecting remarketing on the Wednesday there.
Great. Our next question is kind of an interesting one. The question is, what are your recommendations on the number of campaigns and ads? They ask specifically for a startup clothing business, but I think we could also answer that a little bit more generally as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that if you look through our previous webinars, so either on our website or on our YouTube channel, then we've got ads on remarketing. You can look at the structures that you do. But generally with remarketing, what we normally run is our evergreen ads, which is quite tight time windows, like 7-day website visitors, 3-day engagers and things. But really for prospecting, you during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, you can keep those running, but you're also creating separate campaigns where we're uploading our mailing lists of purchasers last year, or we can go up to 180-day website visitors and 365-day Facebook and Instagram engagers. So just those audiences which are warm but not quite as warm, separate those out. So just map those out on a piece of paper there. And then your prospecting campaigns, I'd definitely be splitting out any Instagram stories from my newsfeed ads there. And yeah, you can go and separate them out into lots of different campaigns, or you can be using campaign budget optimization, where you can let Facebook decide where to put the budget. Like we saw in phase 1, what you really want to be doing is testing CBO beforehand. If you've never used it before, you don't want to be going into Black Friday, Cyber Monday, putting everything together, letting CBO decide where to put the budget and find it's putting it in the wrong place. So if you use CBO, you need to know what you're doing with it. So yeah, if you're used to CBO and you know it works for your particular business, then we can consolidate the number of campaigns. So what I do with some of my clients for prospecting, I might just have 1 or 2 campaigns for cold traffic, and I'm putting all the budget in at the campaign level, letting Facebook decide where to allocate it between the ad sets. But if you're not sure if it's going to work for you, if you're using some new audiences, then I would split them up, get granular, and that's why I do the surfing. That's why I just like sit in front of AdEspresso or Ads Manager over the weekend and manually raise or decrease those budgets depending on results there. So I'm sorry I can't give you a firm answer, but it really depends on your previous experience there and how much you're going to willing to babysit those ads over the holiday weekend.
Great answer there. Our next one is a good question. How do you feel about giveaways to drive traffic to the website to encourage them to purchase? And in addition, is it a good idea to have a tiered system? So for example, they complete one action, they get so many entries. If they complete another one, they get additional entries, etc.
Okay, I'm a huge fan of running competition ads, and in my previous job, I used to run them week in, week out religiously. There are some caveats to this though. The first is that you need to be offering a price that's relevant to your brand. So obviously if you're e-commerce, you would give away a product that you actually sell. Just giving away a random Starbucks gift card isn't going to work. All you do is you get just the wrong type of people. I don't know if you call it the same in the US, but certainly in the UK, we get people we call compers. These are professional competition entrants. They just enter every competition going. There's Facebook groups where they share all these competitions. So you end up with lots of clicks, but no kind of purchases there. So make sure it's a relevant product. That's the thing. And then, yeah, get those clicks to the website, and then you can build some audiences there. And then probably just don't run them too much over Black Friday, Cyber Monday. But yeah, you know, small budget campaigns for top of the funnel, feeding the funnel at this time of year can work. I usually do it as a boosted page post. You tend to get more likes, comments, and shares. Also, on that point there about these, you know, 10 points if you like us on Instagram and 5 points if you share and all that. I find it doesn't work. People don't want to jump through hoops, especially going back to that stat that 94% of Facebook ads are served on mobile devices. It's pretty complicated to do all these things and complete a sentence and upload a photo of you with your cat doing this and that. Just keep it very simple. Just get them to like the post. As well as keep it easy, you also then compliant with Facebook competition rules. I know a lot of brands don't follow these, but there are actually quite specific rules on contests on Facebook. So you can ask a user to take action, like a post or like your page or upload a photo or whatever, but you can't ask them to do anything that's spammy, which means sharing a post, inviting their friend to go and like the post and that sort of thing. And it generally doesn't do much good for your brand. There's also, with Facebook ads policies, they will give you a low quality score for the ads if you're asking for too many actions. I find it doesn't actually affect CPM that much, so I still ask users to go and like the post or enter, but technically you do get a bit less distribution. That could be a problem over Black Friday, Cyber Monday when prices are high, which is why I'd be feeding the funnel now with those contest ads, not over the main that kind of purchasing weekend there. So hopefully those tips will give you some ideas.
Great. And then this next question, Paul, I know you have an answer for. Do you have any specific tips regarding creating ads for children's books?
Yes, so I've run that. I've actually sold about 1 million children's books. I think it is now through some ads there. The message is, if you can before the holiday season, run traffic through to your website. That then gives you the chance to optimize your ads because Facebook can see that data through the pixel on your website. You can then build up those audiences for you can build up website custom audiences for remarketing. You can segment by the product pages that people have looked at and so on. When it comes to the main event, that's when you might switch to Amazon. Just really depends where you sell your books. The problem outside of the holiday season is when you drive traffic straight through to Amazon, you can't put the Facebook pixel there, so you can't see whether your ads are working or not. You can't go and optimize properly. You can't build remarketing audiences. But really for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, I'm quite happy to not worry about the pixel too much and just drive the traffic through to Amazon. It's estimated 60% of US households have got an Amazon Prime account. Everybody's used to one-click purchases on Amazon. A lot of people have been doing that for nearly 20 years now, believe it or not. So yeah, beforehand, drive traffic through to your website and then switch to Amazon with a really good discount. Final tip there is capture emails at every single opportunity on your website. So if they don't purchase straight away, you can then remarket to them by email. Email marketing is basically cheap. It's still very, very effective. There's no time limits. You're not worried about ad blockers or that type of things. So for marketing, extremely effective there. So what we normally do is give people like a free first chapter or like a free, for those, I've given them like a free extra story or something like that by email if they sign up to my news list there. Okay, I think we've got I think we've got time for just a couple more questions today.
Alrighty, then we'll make our last question a good one. Is there anyone who shouldn't be running ads during the holiday season? You know, maybe something like insurance or maybe a dentist where you keep your campaigns always on, but maybe the holiday season isn't the best time to do so with the increased costs.
Yeah, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. Is if you can't be doing a big discount, there's no point in paying 3x the baseline for CPM and CPC there. Also, I've seen some ads that get very desperate. I saw a ad from a funeral home today. It wasn't related to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but they were trying to jump on other holidays. They're going, "Happy Labor Day" from the funeral home. And it's like that doesn't work, you know. So yes, if it's not a natural fit for your brand, don't jump on it just because you think you've got to go, hey, happy Thanksgiving. If it's not right, fine, just duck out of the auction. And some of my brands as well, my e-commerce brands, I've had grown-up conversations with them starting in August, and I've said, look, it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday, what's right for your brand? Bearing in mind that to really cut through the noise, you've probably got to be offering a 20-25% upwards discount. And some of those brands are like, no, I don't really want to offer that discount. That's going to cut into my margins too much. It's also quite tricky with logistics. So what they've said is, right, okay, we're going to make it very clear in all our messaging, whether it's organic or paid or by email, throughout the time that we just have one consistent pricing. What we don't want to do is get people to not purchase in August because they're waiting for the end of November. So we're very clear. Also, for some brands that have decided not to run it for e-commerce, it's because they've had some resentment from customers saying, you know, if you're selling sort of like standard mobile phone cases, then people aren't really going to care. They might decide, okay, I'm gonna this like 20% off over Black Friday, I'm going to purchase. But for some more community driven brands that have got this really good following, what they found is that when they give a discount over Black Friday, they get a lot of resentment from people that purchased early in August or September, and they found that it's just not a right fit for their brand. So have a really good think. If you think, right, I don't want this logistic nightmare, I don't want to be giving this deep discount, it's not right for my community, just be really consistent. And that's why we've got to really start planning in phase one there. Okay, I think we've got time for one last question today.
All right, we'll do a fun one. So this is a myth. I love myth busting. If you have the word Christmas in the copy, does it affect the auction process or any keywords at all? Do they, make it more competitive or cost more, or is that just a myth?
It's not something I've ever heard. A good thing actually to point out on this is that it used to be the case until very recently that if you had more than 20% text in your ads, Facebook used to penalize you for that. And that's no longer the case. So you can actually have a bit more, blunt in your ads. You can put any offer codes on the ad themselves. Why this was really important is that Facebook used to give ads like, 3 levels of warnings. And you'd normally find in Q1, Q2, even Q3, if you're at like level 1 or level 2 for like, too much text or whatever, Facebook would still run the ads fine. But you find that in Q4, that Facebook just runs out of ad space. There's physically no more room for ads. So you need to make sure that your ads are really compliant, because if they go to the back of the queue for distribution, then yeah, Q1 to Q3, no problem. In Q4, for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, your ads will not run. So make sure that, preferably I would use manual bidding. If you are using, sorry, I would use automatic bidding. If you are using manual bidding, then make sure it's a much higher bid than normal. With budgets, be really liberal with budgets, that Facebook's got enough to work with there. Don't be doing too much split testing. Try and keep the number of ad sets and ads to a minimum. Split testing should be done in phase 1, not phase 3, and so on. And yeah, with those types of things, if you're not sure about a keyword, if you're thinking, right, am I allowed to mention something about, COVID, or can I mention Facebook in my ads, whatever it is, you're not sure on the Facebook ads policy, run a little $10 campaign a week before Black Friday and see what Facebook says in their approval system. Don't wait until Thanksgiving to find out what's approved and what's not there. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us today. Just to remember that you will get a replay either by email or on our website, or on our YouTube channel within 24 hours. Any questions as well, drop me a message at paul@adespresso.com. And I would like to wish you all good luck with your ads. I hope you have a really successful and profitable holiday season this year.